retreating. I highly recommend. For the second year in a row, I've taken time away from a busy life in Chicagoland for a few days of creative respite in the rustic beauty of Door County, Wisconsin. But this year, I wanted to try something different, and I looked for something on Lake Michigan. And when I arrived and saw the view from my patio, I was blown away. I've loved Door County since I came here on a camping trip a decade or so ago. It's on a peninsula that juts out into Lake Michigan. The little harbor towns along both sides give me New England vibes, though I've never been. I started this tradition last year when I needed to plan adventures to get out of the house in the shadow of losing my sweet chow chow, Callie, after 10.5 years. We'd become a part of each other. She was so interwoven into my heart that the word bestie doesn't even begin to describe her. I needed to find ways to get out of the house and focus on anything but the loss of her. There's something remarkable to me about how loss and grief can propel you forward. I think about where I've been and where I am. The good news and the bad news is that the highs and lows of life are what give it texture. I'm no stranger to either grief or loss. This June 1st will mark 13 years since the death of my husband, Ken. And though certainly there will always be sadness that we didn't get to have more than a decade together, with lots of work and therapy and writing in the weeks and months and even the years after his death, I find that I'm mostly just grateful to have had him for as long as I did. Or maybe had it. True love. It's hard to sneer at that. When I walked out onto the shore behind the cottage, I was awestruck by the beauty around me. I can't believe this is my life, I thought. And it's funny. I remember writing those exact words in my journal when Ken was re-diagnosed with cancer. Of course, I meant it in a completely opposite way back then. It takes time to work through grief. It's not something you get over or pack away. It's something you begin to understand on some small level and learn to live with. In quiet moments of stillness like this, my mind sometimes drifts to a time in my life when I didn't have this, when my world was dark and very, very small. Because it had to be. I honestly wondered if I'd ever know feelings of joy and happiness again. The good news is, my story gets to have a happy ending. Not the one I thought it would when I fell in love 23 years ago. It's a different happy ending. And the happy ending I choose still includes Ken and Callie in ways that are meaningful to me. As for the retreat, the days sped by. It was hard to come inside with such incredible weather. I walked up and down the shoreline taking pictures and filming, coming in only long enough to charge or replace a battery. I did make time to sit down at my Mac to do some writing, which was the initial reason for these retreats in the first place. I write a blog and essays, and I'm working on a memoir about my journey with Ken, but nobody wants to watch me type for a couple of hours. Before I leave, take one more look at this incredible place. This writing retreat has been unbelievable. Last year was only my first time, and I stayed in a nearby town. And I was in the woods, which explains this. Yeah, it's a good thing I bought insurance. I got lots of great drone footage here of this incredible shoreline. The weather has been incredible. I had no idea it was going to be this nice and warm. And that I'd have this rocky beach to myself. Granted, it's before season, but it's unseasonably warm. I've thought a lot about gratitude on this trip, which I think about it a lot. And it's going to sound odd, maybe a little corny, but it's true. I'm grateful that I can feel gratitude and that I understand its importance. What is it about the rolling motion of the water under a clear blue sky that feels so calming? The waves lazily making their way to the shore, in no rush, coming from that gorgeous crimson sunrise. I wouldn't be in a rush either. A reminder of how important unplugging from everyday life is. And another reminder of enjoying the journey. The past doesn't define me. It informs me. And the future excites me. And for all those things, I'm incredibly grateful. One of the most powerful lessons I learned from Ken, that I seem to keep learning over and over, is the importance of enjoying the journey. In some ways, it's all we have. And my journey to this place in Wisconsin and in my life has been pretty enjoyable. I have a deep and abiding respect for all the experiences that have shaped my life. Thanks for watching and coming on this journey with me. Like and subscribe for more journeys to come.